Hi folks, Dave, the Honest Audiophile. This is the Kiwi Ear Cadenza, and these are my honest audiophile impressions. I want to thank Linsoul for providing the Kiwi Ear Cadenza for review. Do greatly appreciate it. Linsoul, you rock. Alright, so the Kiwi Ear Cadenza. This will set you back $35 from your bank account. It has a 10mm beryllium diaphragm driver, and it has 32 ohms of impedance, 110 decibels of sensitivity, and a frequency response of 20 Hz to 20 kHz. Comes in a pretty basic type of box. You get some little bit of artistic flair on the front here, and then you also see that it comes in 4 different colors: red, blue, green, and purple. I did get the blue version from Linsoul. On the back you get a little bit more branding, and then on one side you get the little more branding, and then on the other you get some specs. Other than that, pretty basic. Taking off the sleeve and you end up with a little black box with some branding on the front, and then on the inside nothing special here. You just get your IEMs and very limited accessories. The accessories are tips. You get 3 different types of tips. You get clearish white, black, and then a smoke gray with a red stem. And you get small, medium, and large in each. Very nice touch that you get plenty of tips. I did not really hear any differences between the tips sonically. Fit wise and seal wise, definitely felt a difference, and I felt that the gray red stem ones fit me the best and gave me the best overall performance. So I used the gray red stem tips for the cadenza. Then you get your cadenza, and the cable is okay. It's a little bit soft and light. Does have a nice little cinch that is actually nice and tight and holds things in place. So if you use a cable cinch, this one is actually a functional one. Terminates into a 3.5 at 90°, and then you get 2-pin connections going into the shells. Nice ear hooks. They're nice and soft but well controlled. Do a very good job of holding the cadenza in place. The shell of the cadenza is pretty standard fare, especially for this price point. Nothing special here, but it looks good and it feels alright. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's gonna break. It's nice and light. It's a little bit on the bulky side. Smooth back, nice angle, a little bit short on the nozzle, and a little bit fat, but other than that, not bad. Once they go into ears though, that all disappears. I actually have no problems whatsoever with them fitting in my ear and with them staying in place. They do a very good job of just allowing me to listen to them for hours on end. As far as isolation of outside noises, you're probably somewhere 55-60% of outside noises blocked. This is not going to be the best option if you are in very loud environments, public transit and things like that. But if you're using them in light office settings or around the house, around the neighborhood, that type of thing, they should be okay. They're very easy to drive, not very picky whatsoever on sources. I found that dongles, DAPs, and desktops all were able to drive them with ease, had no issues whatsoever, did not have any problems with sensitivity, with hissing, or anything of that sort. Also had no issues with having to turn up gain. These things are extremely easy and not very picky whatsoever. So anything that you have laying around that plays music, these should be able to sound good on it. Before we get into the sonic impressions of the Kiwi Ears Cadenza, I do want to thank my supporters through YouTube memberships and Patreon. Thank you very much for all that you provide to the channel and for your willingness to give of your own funds back to a channel that you enjoy and want to succeed. So thank you very much for all that you give to the channel. And funds that are given to the channel are used to further the experience for everybody else. Thank you very much for providing funds that can purchase gear to review, gear to use to compare, gear to do the reviews on, and also for coffee and other beverages to drink while I'm doing the reviews. So thank you very much for everything that you provide to the channel. It is much appreciated. If you're interested in becoming a supporter of the Honest Audiophile channel, please check out the links down below. There's all kinds of ways down there through either YouTube memberships, Patreon, or for one-time gifts. Also, while you're down there, don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video, and also to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell, that way you'll know the next time a video is uploaded. Alright, so the Kiwi Ears Cadenza. The Cadenza has a very heavy bass. It is a very impactful and thumping bass. It has nice sub bass presence and good mid bass presence. Upper bass is a little bit less and slightly thinner than the main bass and middle bass and also the sub bass. But overall, the bass has a heaviness to it. You really feel it. It just hits home. There's a lot of girth, a lot of body, and a lot of thump, and a lot of slam and punch. And it's just a very hard, heavy hitting bass. It has decent control. It's not the best control. Sometimes on busier tracks or heavier bass tracks, it will kind of go into one note mode and it'll become a little bit mushed and mashed together. But for the most part, it stays well controlled, does a very good job of just portraying a very fun and engaging bass. Detail retrieval is okay, especially for the price point. Resolution is all right for the price point. And overall, it has a good tone and timbre to it. The mids. The mids are kind of a mixed bag for me. They're kind of a hodgepodge of things. And the lower mids are recessed and thin. The upper mids are elevated and a little bit on the more forward side of things. And they at times can be a little bit too bright and shouty. I find that the mids have decent tone and timbre, especially for the price point. They sound accurate and true, but they're just too forward, too emphasized, especially in the uppers. And then in the lowers, they're a little bit thin on note weight, and they lack a little bit of just overall body. I find that they're a little uneven, but for the most part, they're good sounding. I just wish that they were a little bit more cohesive and a little bit more balanced and not quite as forward and they're not aggressive, but they are a very energetic, we'll put it that way. And then the treble. The lower treble is also very energetic. It's very sparkly and at times has moments of hotness, especially around 8 to 10K. The rest of the treble is more controlled and extends out nicely, and it has a more mellow approach. But at times, that lower treble can be a little too intense and a little too sizzly and a little bit too hot. Overall, I like the presentation of the Kiwi Ears Cadenza, but I don't love it. It has some of those moments of standing out that just kind of makes me go, And it, at times will just be a little too mellow and chill. So it's a little hit or miss. And it kind of just depends on the song that is playing. Soundstage wise, it's a very compressed and intimate stage. It's a very small stage. It does not expand out very far. And when things decay and kind of trail off to the sides or travel across from side to side, they tend to reach a wall. It kind of sounds like they don't decay out all the way. They'll come to a screeching halt. This also impacts depth. There's not a lot of depth to the cadenza, and it seems to kind of hit a back wall and just kind of stop instead of decaying out and expanding. It's not a very expansive soundstage. As far as imaging is a little bit better than 3 Blob, but not much better. There's sometimes a little bit of stuttering as things go across the stage. It doesn't completely go but it'll kind of go and it doesn't quite transition smoothly. Imaging is okay, but it's not very laser accurate. We are talking about a $35 IEM here, so some of these flaws are nitpicky. As far as tone and timbre, it does okay with it. It's not the most accurate and natural sounding, but it's good. It's a little bit thin, especially in the mids. And then detail retrieval. Detail retrieval is good for the price. It's not the best at detail retrieval, but for $35, I can't really complain. And then resolution, it does a good job for it, especially in the price point of 35 bucks. This is a pretty darn good detail retrieval and resolution IEM. How does it compare to a couple others in its price point? Well, first you have the 7 Hertz Sale Notes 0. Now the 0, I do not like the cable of. So big win for the Cadenza there. Fit wise, also the Cadenza fits better. Sound wise, the 7 Notes 0 is more elevated in the mids and treble, has a thinner note weight. It definitely has less bass impact. It's not near as heavy sounding as the Cadenza. It does have a slightly wider stage width, a little bit better depth. It's very similar in detail retrieval, and it's not quite as resolving. It is a little bit more harsh and not quite as good in the resolution. So the Cadenza does beat out the 7 Hertz 0 in my opinion. I do prefer the Cadenza over it. But if you were to step up your budget a little bit and go up to the TINHIFI T2, the TINHIFI T2, in my opinion, is just a better option. You're going to get a more neutral presentation. You're going to get a more natural and accurate tone and timbre. And you're also going to get a fuller note weight. It's going to be more realistic sounding. And it also has a better accurate stage width, depth, and layering, and it's better detailed and better resolving. So I find that the T2 is actually where I would go when it comes to this price point. I would pay the few extra dollars and get the TINHIFI T2. But if you want that bass and you want that real big emphasis there, and you prefer this style of body, you may lean towards the Cadenza. It's a good, fun sound, but it has a little bit too much energy and a little bit of too much sizzle for my ears when it comes to the mids and lower treble regions. This has been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next video, somewhere on the screen, subscription links, notification bells. If you haven't already, please check those off. Don't forget to check out the links down below. There's all kinds of information down here regarding how you can contact the channel, follow the channel, support the channel, all that kind of stuff down below, along with music that was used in the review, and also tier grade rankings and all kinds of other things down below. So check out the links there. Don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. And lastly, don't forget to enjoy the music, and that honesty is the best policy.